Scott Bauer, CEO of Prosper Trading Academy, is with me. We just talked about two analyst reports that do have some upside potential for this name and buy ratings. What do you think? I mean, how would you go about an example trade? Because we do have the earnings coming now.
Yeah, and I think you have to be very, very cautious, but that doesn't mean negative. We can be cautiously optimistic, which I am. We have to factor in, I think, something that you and Sam didn't touch on were lower oil prices, April and May. That probably helped margins quite a bit. So I think we have to hear what they say about that moving forward. What are oil prices going to be like? But, if you look at what AAA and TSA are both projecting, they're projecting record travel this summer, not just from last weekend, July 4th weekend. So I'm actually cautiously optimistic here. So what I'm doing in Delta is I'm going to sell this week. It expires on Friday, the 55 strike call, but I'm going out a couple of weeks, the July 25th 52 strike call. I can do that. I'm looking to pay about $1.30 for that. So what you can think about this, Nicole, is this is a diagonal call spread where I am bullish. So I'm buying a 52 call, but I'm selling this week's 55 to get me some of that debit that I have to lay out for that, to get me some of that back and reduce the cost of this trade.
Okay, now, thank you for that. Now, I would like to hear about your thoughts on the recent market action. This is the NASDAQ composite hits new record highs. The S&P 500 is 20 points away from the record. Your thoughts?
Boy, I mean, I kind of wish that it wasn't over the summer right now and we could get normal volumes, because obviously volumes are depressed. That happens over the summer here. But the market has been unbelievably resilient. And just as my outlook on Delta is cautiously optimistic, it's the same with the overall market. I look at this right here and I look at all of the things, all of the headwinds that the market has staring it in the face. And yet here we are within a whisker, of all-time highs again. So that's great. Going forward here, earnings season starts this week. We get the banks next week. If they give any sort of decent guidance, we will blast through new highs here. That being said, Nicole, and we've talked about this before, with volatility where it is right now, we've got a VIX, as low as it's been in quite a while. It's really a time to buy some insurance in the marketplace, especially if you want to stay long. So VIX is low. You can buy upside VIX calls. You can buy downside SPY or triple Q puts. It's really the time to lock in that cheap insurance, in my opinion.
With this tariff date arriving here today, are you expecting some volatility in the near term, and are you going to buy on the dips then?
I'm not buying on the dips yet. I do think this is a buy the dip marketplace, but I think that, if we just get a 1 or 2% dip, that's not enough for me. If we got, 3, 4, maybe a 5% dip, absolutely. I don't know that we're going to get a lot of tariff information of consequence today, other than, well, we're negotiating. We're still, we're looking at that August 1st date. I think the market is telling us that. I also think the bond market is telling us that, seeing rates, come off of especially the 10-year, the highs that we saw over the last couple of days.
All right, Scott Bauer, CEO, Prosper Trading Academy. Thank you so much. Good to see you.